So what are you most proud of with this book?
We did it.
Seriously.
We did it. It was something that I always wanted to do.
In September, you and Derek went out and you did In Too Deep with the Jonas Brothers.
Derek texted me. He's like, so Jonas Brothers want to do In Too Deep in Seattle. Do you want to go? And we went there, and it was crazy to hear In Too Deep with a massive backing band. Last night, my wife did, you could do it at home, like a blood draw. It was like a whole family thing. Let's draw dad's blood, because I'm a wuss. I can't stand that stuff. I wouldn't look at it.
Your kids are all just taking vials of blood out of you.
Dogs jumping around. I'm like,
come on!
Yeah.
I can't help but walk through your landmines 10 feet and I'm going out of my mind. I'm not right without you, is that so wrong?
Frank Zummo, what is up, man? Welcome to Spout. How you doing?
Thanks for having me, dude. It's so great to see you. It's been a minute, and thanks for supporting this book.
How have you been the past 2 years, man?
I've been good. Just, obviously since I last saw you, we went out for about a year and a half around the world.
Yeah.
To just say goodbye with Sun, which was just incredible, emotional, beautiful, everything.
Yeah.
And through that tour, that's when this book deal happened. It had been just a vision and thought, and then it got real. Mm-hmm. So I really just went hard on just finishing it and everything that went into, making this happen. But within that same time, I wound up filling in for Electric Callboy, and then now being in the band. So it was just, it's been a year.
Yeah.
I just got off a roller coaster. I just had time with family to celebrate this book and just everything that's happened. But it's been a wild end, but then a new beginning. Book out. So yeah.
So the book, it's Unbreakable Rhythm, My Journey Through Music, Wellness, and Mental Strength.
Yeah.
You worked with Jason Pettigrew on it, who we worked together at Alternative Press.
The best.
So stoked when I saw his name attached to this. How did the idea for a book come to be?
It had always been something that I just would jot in notepads about if I did a book one day. And finally, when I started really, I'm sure we talked about this last time, all the workshops that I do with School of Rock kids.
School of Rock, yes.
It just has been the most amazing, just events where I get to not only perform with the kids, we have real talk. Mm-hmm. And it just kept going into mental health, wellness, and just some amazing breakthroughs were happening with students, parents, teachers. And I kept saying, I'd walk away from it being like, this is so incredible. I only can do a certain amount of events a year. It's a big world. How do I talk about what's happening in this book? List these resources. Mm-hmm. And Jason Pettigrew, I started talking about making this book thing happen, and his name was brought up. And I'm like, Jason obviously has interviewed me my whole musical career. Mm-hmm. And we went really deep during COVID when I started putting out solo music, and I just feel comfortable with him. So when his name was brought up, I was like, that's the guy. I texted him, he called me. He said, what's going on? I explained to him about these workshop events. He's like, I got to come see one. I'm like, exactly. You got to come feel the magic. He came to House of Vans in Chicago.
Oh, sick.
And I did a workshop, and
That's
he
rad.
was an earshot of all the interactions before, after, watch the event. And he was just moved because they're so incredible. And we were backstage after, and he just started rolling tape. And we had a conversation, and that exact conversation is the introduction to this book.
Oh, that's great.
And then we kept it very interview style. We would just get on the phone a couple times a week for a couple hours, rolling tape. And over a year, that started turning into the book. And I've read all those incredible memoirs about rock stars and the crazy stories and all that stuff. And I just wanted to touch on the workshops. Yes, music and all these gigs and high pressure situations and all the hard times and how do you persevere, all of that stuff, which is just a lot of stuff that people don't know.
Yeah.
And then, get into the wellness, get into the mental health, then bring in all these amazing people throughout my life that I've been fortunate enough to be in their presence, work with them, whatever it may be. So it was special. And even the photo gallery stuff, I put emails of really important things that happen that people don't really get to see, that kind of stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And everyone gave their blessing to use them in the book. So just a really, really cool project. And then we listed obviously all the resources of mental health organizations, wellness organizations. Everyone's always asking about vitamins and supplements that I take, like listed it all, you know, like a little mini kind of blueprint of kind of what works for me.
Yeah, which is cool because I remember 2 years ago when we did talk about School of Rock, you were talking about a common topic that kept coming up with the kids was mental health. So to see what it's grown into and that it stayed consistent, and you were able to actually be inspired enough by it to create this, that's so cool. And I see School of Rock like all over the place now, by the way. I'm from Reno, Nevada. There's one out there now. I was just driving through there. I saw it on the street and my mom was like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Whoa, let me tell you about it." So for those who don't know, what is School of Rock?
It's a school that little kids to adults can go for one-on-one music lesson, but then you can also get in bands with other members of the school and go out and do gigs. And you're playing real venues, they're packed, you're learning to be a professional, like all of that stuff, and it makes learning your instrument like really fun. And when I started touring and doing workshops, I kept bringing the kids in to either open the show, or I just bring the drummers and the drummers would jam with me. Now it literally, I play with a full house. They call house bands. Like you audition, you get in a house band.
Yep.
And I was touring it before COVID when there was budgets by amazing companies like Vans and Laird Superfood where they were able to like put me on the road to make these events free for the kids. COVID happened and the schools were open, you know, shortly after lockdown and all that. And I said, "Can I go to the schools?" And they were like, "Yeah, but you can't fly." I was like, "Okay, I'll drive." I was like, these kids just got robbed of their graduations, proms, sporting. So let me go there and be there for these kids. And it was really just like, I would be in a room this size sometimes in just their lesson room. And the kids would sit on the floor and I'd play a couple Sum 41 songs. We'd jam, we'd talk. And it was just so good to be there for these kids when they were going through this and really have some real talk about. That's kind of what opened the doorway to the whole teen suicide prevention charities that we've worked at. And this all was just organic because the kids were wanting to talk to me about this stuff, which is so cool that they felt that, you know, open to just have these hard conversations. And we've had some amazing things that I talk about in the book with breakthroughs with kids, which is so incredible. And like, I'm such a fan of School of Rock because I didn't have this coming up. It didn't exist. But you're right. There's a couple hundred in America. They're popping up all over the world now. And one of the things when I was writing this book, I always sit back and look, you know, at the year and say, okay, these events with these kids are rad. How do we up it next year? And one of my vision board things was like, what if we played an NFL game? Me and the School of Rock kids.
Super Bowl
Put it out in the
halftime.
universe. It just happened.
No way.
We just did it. That's how I kicked off the actual like book tour.
Oh, that's sick.
It happened. We opened the game.
Yeah.
Me and the all-star local kids in the snow, 20 degrees out, like just an amazing experience. And like it happened. Like we did it. And these kids got to play an NFL stadium. And it was awesome. Like we played some songs. We played all the big classic rock songs, like from Guns N' Roses to AC/DC. It was so rad. And then the kids got tickets to go watch the game.
Oh, that's a win-win.
It was just...
Where was it at? Which stadium? Which team was this for?
This was for the mad respect to the New York Giants.
Oh,
at MetLife
sweet. So it was
Stadium.
cold.
Yeah. And it was just, the Giants believed in this whole thing with the kids' mental health. And then...
That's so cool.
And I was like, let's raise money for an organization. So we literally found at SJC Drums Warehouse the original first Shepard Fairey snare drum that we collaborated on that you can't even get anywhere. We found one. I played it. We put it up for auction to donate all the money to teen suicide prevention. And literally just how amazing the messaging is. And like we just said, this is what it's going to go to. The person that bought it is a massive Electric Callboy fan.
Nice.
So the father bought it for his kid. The kid doesn't know his birthday's coming up. And the dad, went through this mental health stuff with his son. And he's like, I love what this is all about. So I'm going to double the money.
Wow.
So he paid
that's amazing.
X amount and then doubled it for this organization, which it's so amazing. And like, it's great to see the support just organically, how all this stuff happens.
That's a great turn in like your life that you've been able to do to really positively impact people's lives. Apart from the music side of it, you're really getting in touch with, I feel like it's harder for younger kids to maybe speak out about some of this stuff, and you've really given a platform of cool stuff. So that's awesome. And with this book, you're also looking into your music past. Did it remind you of any cool epic moments? You were talking about growing up reading memoirs of artists, but now yourself with a memoir. What were some moments from your career that were like, wow, if I was reading this as a kid, I would think this person's life was pretty sick?
I mean, it's like the whole thing about putting something out in the universe, and things are just meant to be if you stay on that path and vision. And like, that's what it was. Seeing my first show at 5 years old, Ozzy, Motley Crue. I talk about this all the time. Like, I was already playing drums at that point, but that was like the first show I went to. And that's when I knew right at that moment I was going to do this. And then literally many years later, I become friends with Motley Crue, and then I have to fill in for Tommy Lee for 2 weeks when he burns his hand. So it's like, that is the most insane story. Like that for me is like, I still don't believe it happened.
This is my friend Frank Zummo from the Street Drum Corps. Say, what's up, Frank?
Remember you brought your dad out to one of those shows as well, right?
Yeah, my dad, got to see me playing the band that, inspired his son, sent him on his journey. So I have 2 sons now. I only hope I could have moments like that, because that's just, it's crazy. It's so crazy. And like, that's the stuff I wanted to just share and hear about. Like, it's not about, bragging about it. It's about how I got there, because I had a vision. I was inspired. I stayed on it. And then the world just somehow worked itself out that I got to, now be in this band. And it's such a amazing story. And that's what I tell these kids. It's just like, there's no reason why you can't be up here doing this, or you can't be on that stage. I'm totally no different. Agree. I just said, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm not stopping. And that's like one of the big takeaways that I really wanted to put in this book. When certain things happen, I'm like, see, it's because I stayed on my past. I didn't go this way, didn't go that way, because I didn't have anything else. I didn't know how to do anything else. I didn't go to school for anything else. Like, it was just, I had to make it work. There really was no plan B ever. And luckily I had such amazing supportive parents that they never, I didn't want them to sit me down and have that awkward conversation. Like, hey dude, if this music thing doesn't work out, like, what else are you going to do? I didn't want to have that awkward. So I just always was working and moving forward, so we didn't have to have that conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our friends Derek and Frank of Sum 41.
Since I last saw you, the Sum 41 tour where you went all over the world ended. I think your last show was in January of last year, the proper Sum 41 show.
Yeah, we did 2 nights in Toronto.
Yeah.
And then we went to the Junos to fully wrap it up.
But then a few months ago, it seems all it takes is the Jonas Brothers to bring you guys out a little bit. Because in September, you and Derek went out and you did In Too Deep with the Jonas Brothers. So how did that happen, and what was that experience like? Because that put the biggest smile on my face.
Yeah, I mean, we wrapped at the Junos in the most epic way, like closing the show.
Can't help but walk through your red lights, 10 feet and I'm going out of my mind. Not right without you, is that so wrong?
Getting inducted into the Canadian Hall of Fame, like,
amazing.
The most beautiful send-off. I saw Derek in April when I was in Vegas, and we spent Easter together with our families. And then, we've all been keeping in touch. Our band text feed is still alive and well and all that. And then just Derek texts me. He's like, so Jonas Brothers want to do In Too Deep with you and I in Seattle. Do you want to go? And I was on the road doing drum shows, and I was luckily able to get a sub, because this was also last minute for basically 3 days. And it was awesome. Like, we went there, and they're rad. They're so nice. And their team, massive production.
Yeah.
And it was crazy to hear In Too Deep with a massive backing band. They've got a giant backing band. And we went up there and sound checked it once or twice. came back at the night. Derek and I are just sitting in like a arena dressing room, just the two of us, like had nothing, but we're just playing one song. And we kind of were like, before we went up there, they were playing some sensitive ballady stuff. And we looked at each other, we're like, I wonder how this is going to go. Are these people going to know our band? It's different times, different whatever. And it's 75% young female audience. We went up there and it was awesome. It was so fun.
It sounded, the crowd, they knew it from what I could hear, at least from the fan videos that I watched. I was wondering, are they going to know the words? Are they going to do it? And they sure did.
Everybody up! 'Cause I'm here today, and I'm trying to get everybody instead of going under.
It was awesome, just to get to do that and just to hang again. And Seattle's awesome. And then like Sum 41 is still alive with Electric Callboy. We covered Still Waiting.
I was going to mention that as well. So you guys covered that. If people aren't aware, so Electric Callboy, it's kind of this heavy but electronic group. And
It's like metalcore meets techno.
Yeah.
And they're German and they're just blowing up. Best dudes. The show is insane. It's just the best festival. It's like a rave, metal show at a rave.
Yeah.
So I filled in when we were in Australia, December of last year, because Derek got pneumonia when we got to Australia, so we had to cancel the whole run.
Oh, I don't even remember if I
This
knew
was
that
our final-
happened. Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
So our final tour,
Final leg?
our final time in Australia, there's no do-overs. We go all the way there, send the production, band, crew. It's very far to get there. And he wasn't feeling well. Doctors checked him out. And sure enough, he had pneumonia. He couldn't fly. You have to fly to every show there because of distances. We were headlining Good Things Festival all 3 days in 3 cities. And then we had a week of like arena headlining shows. And done. And I was still there because I had some workshops and things booked. And when I got to the first city of the first festival, I found out that Electric Callboy took our spot headlining. And then their drummer had to leave. So it was this whole thing. So they were like, are you still here? Are you interested in even meeting with us? And I was like, let's go. Like, that's why I'm here. And miraculously, in like 5-6 hours, I learned the show, did the festivals.
Nice.
Then, finished up with some, thought that was it. And then sure enough, they called me on the day of the Junos when it was like everything was done with some. And that's when my anxiety and fear of like what's next really kicked in. And literally they called and, so we covered Still Waiting, just a snippet of it to like pay respect to some, for Derek to be well, to introduce myself in Australia. Then when I came on to do the whole summer festivals with them this year, they were like, so what do you think about us doing an Electric Callboy cover of this? And they sent me a demo and it was sick.
Oh, and what I've heard now is sick. The one that's out that everyone
awesome.
can check out.
So am I still waiting for this world to stop waiting? Can't find a good reason, can't find a to believe in.
That version was amazing every night. So we recorded it on a day off, put it out. It did so well. So it's so cool to still be playing Sum 41 and seeing it still, so big, going over at festivals and stuff. So it's cool just keeping some alive any way I can.
And then you yourself, you're always doing music stuff. So you put out an EP this year, Feels. Right. Talk to me about kind of when it's your own music projects like Feels and stuff. What are you going after? What are you accomplishing with these?
This whole Feels thing happened by accident. I was in Germany on a day off on the festival season, and I was working on photos for the book, which was really hard to go through your life and what are you going to pick, trying to check every box of like every artist or moments and whatnot. And I just had my Apple Music on shuffle, and these songs came on that I forgot about that I had, made and kind of was holding on to for something special. And as I started listening, I'm like, this is every emotion of this book. So I hit up Create Music and I said, hey, like, I'm putting out a book. I would love to put this as a soundtrack. And they believed in me, and they were just like, yeah, we'll put it out. We don't even need to hear it. We know it's going to be rad. We support you and your brand and everything about it. So that was special. And there's a QR code in the book so you can scan it, go right to the music, which is cool. And then, this was when I was just on a whirlwind of a lot of touring and being away from my kids. And I was just trying to come up with ways to stay connected, because that's the only hard part is leaving, my kids and my wife. And I was like, cool project. I was like, when I get home, I'm going to play you guys music, and I want you to draw whatever you see from hearing this music. That was like experiment 1. So my goal was one son to do the single for the EP. And then the other son to do the actual EP art. So then we revisited again, we honed it in, and they both drew it. And it's so cool because they geek out when they look at Spotify art single and they see what they created. So it's a very special project. And there's some instrumental songs, and then the two kind of songs are with female singers. So female energy and upcoming artists, and just really, really special stuff, which just kind of ties in with the book, which was not planned.
Yeah, and I love that because I had no idea when I was asking that it tied into that. And I love when the family gets involved with stuff. You'd mentioned the kids in our last chat. They're obviously older now than they were 2 years ago. Are they still loving the music stuff? Are they, how are they doing? How's the
they're
father
great.
life?
I mean, this press tour started today because my son turned 10 yesterday, and I was just like, I will not miss your double digits birthday, which is crazy. And my other son just turned 7. So, they're riding dirt bikes now. They got dirt bikes for Christmas, and it's
props to you.
Awesome. But they're big time music lovers. They just played their first concert
cool.
for their school. So they take music in their school, and they basically work on drums, guitar, piano, choir. So they're learning it all.
Everything.
Last year, my oldest son got a trombone,
Grammy?
a trombone for Christmas. But it's awesome. So they obviously, it's cool because they are discovering so much music on their own. They love Electric Callboy. So they got to come to London and see
that's
us
sick.
play.
Oh, nice.
Which
Over
was
in
really
London.
cool to have them come for the first time and experience that. They went so hard during the show. They obviously love Sum 41.
Yeah.
21 Pilots is one of their favorites that we've seen so many times as a family. It's a very traditional family thing. And then this is what's crazy. They were either babies or not alive when I used to work with Linkin Park. And Chester's Memorial Show, I think they were babies, and then Linkin Park really wasn't talked about anymore because that was kind of it. And through Spotify, they found Linkin Park on their own. So one night I'm driving home, and my son's like, it'd be sick, Dad, to go to a Linkin Park show. And I'm like, wait, excuse me? I'm like, how do you know Linkin Park? He's like, Spotify. And I'm like, let me explain to my history with this band. Street Drum Corps, toured with them, collaborated with them. Chester was one of my dear friends. Shinoda and I have collaborated, all this stuff. And I just took them to San Jose to see the Linkin Park show.
And what did they think?
They loved it. It was one of their favorite shows, favorite everything. Got to bring them back to say what's up to everybody after.
Oh, that's amazing.
Super cool too. Linkin Park's been such a amazing family, just part of my life, and I'm so stoked that they're doing it and they're having the success they're having. I saw them in a stadium on a day when I was on a day off in Europe, and it's crazy. Electric Callboy and Linkin Park, we were headlining the same festivals in Europe, but they'd headline a different day than us, and it was just crazy to look at this lineup, and it's Avenged Sevenfold day 1, day 2 Linkin Park, us day 3, and it was just so wild.
It's cool to hear that kids are finding good music nowadays, which Linkin Park, by the way, I have loved all their new music. They sound so good live right now. I've been loving to see that. But with record stores dying, because I used to go to record stores to find new music or turn on the radio, it is nice to see that through Spotify and stuff, kids are finding Linkin Park and cool stuff.
It's so yes. When I was coming up, you had to go to a record store, Tower Records, and you'd sit there and put headphones on you'd spend the day there and listen to this CD or just to find new artists. It wasn't as easy as a click. But what I do miss is when I would go buy a CD or a record, it was such a thing. Like now you just click and then I don't like it, move on. But like I would work hard mowing lawns, and I would ride my bike 20 minutes to the record shop with the money I worked hard for, buy that record or CD, go home, learn it, jam to it. Like it was such a pride thing, you know, like
Read the booklet.
Totally. Like I miss that. You know, because yeah, it's great to have things easily, whatever, but I feel like a lot of stuff doesn't, you know, especially with albums, do people have the bandwidth anymore unless it's like the super fans?
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
truly. It's a weird time for music and stuff, and everything is so quick in everyone's brains. They're just in and out. So what else do you have coming up next this year? Obviously, the book is a big, exciting thing for you, but what else are you looking forward to in 2026?
Yeah, I mean, it's Electric Callboy World Tour. We pick back up next week, actually. We pick back up in Europe, leg 2, and then we'll be in America in April and May. We'll be doing like the Forum in LA, which I've seen a million shows, never played there.
Oh, how exciting to
we're
still be
doing-
knocking that stuff off your list.
That's going to be amazing. Doing Red Rocks, some amazing venues, Japan, Australia, and then book tour. You know, I've got a bunch of events, you know, starting from, they already started before the holidays. Now they pick back up this weekend, and we'll go out throughout the year. School of Rock stuff all around America.
So you've been busy since Sum 41 ended. It seems
Yeah,
like you have kept
100%,
plenty
yeah.
busy. When you're making a book like this, I know it was so many conversations with Jason that you had. What does it take to actually start piecing that together?
Jason basically, when he finally felt like, okay, I have like how many hundreds of hours of footage, he started transcribing them. He has a service that can transcribe. I started coming up with like the outline of chapters, and then he would start throwing those transcriptions in the appropriate chapters. Then we had because he's on the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast, we had a shared Google Doc where I would go in there and he would be like, a bunch of notes on the sidebar. What year was this? Does this make sense? Is this transcription fail? You know, like and then I would go in there and then I would start writing too, you know, and then he would come in and clean it up. And then we basically, at the end of it, the smartest thing we did was we brought in a copy editor, which I didn't know what that term was until I was writing a book.
And of course, that is...
A copy editor is basically somebody you bring in to look through the whole thing, and pronunciation, grammar. And the main thing is because we were so attached to it, we knew what everything meant, but somebody stranger
Get a fresh
doesn't
set of
know me,
eyes
they're
on
reading
it.
it makes sense to them. And this dude really helped take this book next level, because he came from just the book world, which is great. And then it was like, okay, all that was done, which was so hard and stressful at the end. And then it was like, oh, we have to do an audiobook. And I'm
I was
like,
going to ask you about that.
I'm going to record it myself. So I literally was on the road, in a hotel for a week, and I brought my recording gear and I did all my own parts. I edited all my own parts. And then we had the owner of Modern Drummer, who's my publisher. He did all the male special guest voices.
I need to listen to this.
Yeah. And then his son's girlfriend did all of the female, like my mom, my wife, Gabby Reese, like all these females. And then like I'm on tour and they're sending me drafts now when it's all together. It's about 5.5 hours of an audiobook. And I'm sitting there like spending my whole day, okay, this is missing or this is out of order. You know, it was a lot. But now's the funnest part, to just go out and talk about it, which I never thought, like, it seems so far-fetched.
Oh, yeah.
To like actually, like, I'm doing events, I can hold it.
It's a physical thing.
Yeah.
Talking about physical CDs back in the day. You got a book now.
So cool. Like that, we've got the digital book, we've got the audio book, like all that stuff, but like it's so cool to like hold it and, you know, now just like go and spread this message. And you know, the goal is just to try to motivate, inspire, and save some people, give them resources to, right now it's the new year. Everyone, you know, people that are into, you know, New Year's resolutions and stuff. It's like, okay, hey, I'm going to go on a health kick. There's a bunch of stuff in there about that. All the, you know, companies that I back that I've nerded out on to make sure the products are good and healthy and no garbage. Like I've gone down that rabbit hole so you don't have to, you know, it's like that kind of stuff.
You're the guinea pig for
yeah.
this book.
Totally. I mean, it's about, for me, longevity, doing what I do. So I'm on a constant quest to do that. Like last night, my wife did. You could do it at home, like a blood draw, because I'm doing a lab to see like where my organs are. Are they at my age? Are they aging younger? Are they aging older? And then you can tweak things. And it's crazy. It was like a whole family thing last night. Like, let's draw dad's blood because I'm a wuss. I can't stand that stuff. I wouldn't look at it.
Your kids are all just taking vials of
all about
blood
it. The
out
dogs
of you.
jumping around. I'm like,
come on.
yeah. But like, I'm just, it's obviously what I do is very hard and the music I play is very hard. And I want to continue to do this because it is like, everyone's like, oh, retire. It's like, I am retired. I get to tour the world and hit drums.
Truly.
Like,
the most
it's
generic
great.
thing, but when you love what you do, it's like you never worked a day in your life.
100%.
And I feel like that really is what it's like. So what are you most proud of with this book if you haven't fully covered it already?
I mean, the most thing I'm proud of is that we did it. Like,
Yeah,
we
seriously.
did it. Like, it was something that I always wanted to do. The time obviously presented itself at the right time, and it's all about working with the right people and it happening organically. Like, we made a pitch deck, my team, and started sending it to all the people, and we weren't really getting anywhere with it. And then one day, I'm on tour with Sum 41. Modern Drummer comes to the show in Miami to do like a drum gear rundown, and me and the owner chatting the next day, catching up, and he's like, what else do you have going on? I was like, well, I'm working on a book. And he's like, what book? He's like, we have a publishing company and we're distributed through Hal Leonard, which is part of School of Rock and all that. I'm like, wait a second. He's like, do you have a deck? Send it over.
Everything's connected.
And we had a deal the next day, and literally they stayed out of the whole process.
They trusted you.
I turned it in. They put it out.
Oh, wow.
They did not, say we have to approve a draft. There was none of that. They let me be me and do the book I wanted to do, which was amazing because we presented this book to a different publisher, when we were pitching, and it's the first time like I ever got feedback, and this book world is new to me, and the feedback was like, this should be way more drum bass, it should be rudiments, and it was a different book. And at the time, one of my managers who represents a big author and knows the book world, I was like, I don't agree, man, but this is all new to me. Like, this is your world. And he's like, no. He's like, I don't agree either. You're right. Stay on your path. And it worked out, and I was able to do the book I wanted to do. And I'm just proud of doing something different. Like, yes, we all as musicians have those crazy stories. Could have done one of those books, but like, it's we've read them all. You're not going to beat those books. And like, because of the magic and all this other stuff, I wanted to do that and put a different books. And again, if you're not a musician, you can read this book and it's going to make sense to you, and you're not going to feel like, not interested or lose interest, I should say. But like when you're doing it, you don't know. You don't know. And then when I finally saw it together and actually like started repeating the audiobook out loud, I was like, this is really special. I'm really proud of this. And like last night we had one of the reviews that, the reviews so far have been incredible, which is amazing. But what we wanted it to be, when you're reading this, it sounds like we're having this conversation. We're just in a room. And that's what they said. It feels like you're in the room with me. And that's why I wanted to do the audiobook. That's why we kept a lot of the grammar the way I speak. So it does sound like I'm this Italian New York dude, and we wanted to come across that way, not to be this like perfectly, that it sounds like a robot, or AI, whatever. It's like, it wasn't that.
Real.
So it's cool that somebody felt that, and that's a win. And like, it's so special.
Where can people pick it up?
This book is for the super fans that love a signed edition that comes with, you can get signed drum heads, drumsticks, all that rad stuff, Premier Collectibles. They're amazing. Worked with them a lot with Sum 41. So that's the signed editions. And then obviously Amazon, Modern Drummer, Hal Leonard, Apple for the audiobook. But we actually made a landing page on frank-zummo.com.
Cool.
With every link.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
whatever you like, you can click.
Everything you
and
just mentioned, it's all right there.
It's all there.
Nice. Well, I'm glad to hear how busy you've been the past few years. This is great. So everybody needs to check it out. As I admire it now, Jason Pettigrew, shout out, and Unbreakable Rhythm, my journey through music, wellness, and mental strength, courtesy of Frank Zummo. So, dude, thanks so much for stopping by, chatting about this today. Anything else that you want to mention
No,
about
thanks for
this?
being my first in-person
Oh, I appreciate
interview.
that. That means a lot to me to catch up after a couple years.
It started it off great, and we were DMing last night. It's just great to have the support, and to be now in LA for 3 days, just talking about this, and I'm doing every kind of podcast, wellness, just checking all the boxes because of what's great. There's so many different sides to this book.
It's relevant to so many audiences.
Totally. And it's fun to be back in LA where I lived for 20 years. And, it's weird every time I come here now because it's like I have to fly here and I'm in a hotel and it's just weird.
You're just temporarily here.
It's weird, but we made it happen. We had crazy flight delays. I had to
You already
reroute
know.
myself to Long
This
Beach.
guy flew into Long Beach today.
Got
which
an Uber to get here. and it's
directly
like,
here.
We made it. We made it happen.
You made it happen. You got the next 3 days. And I feel like so much of life is truly just following through with things and being consistent. That's what it took for this book. That's what your career has just been, being consistent with things. It seems like that's a lot of what you are talking about and stuff. So props to you and congrats on releasing this, because what an exciting new chapter in a book filled with chapters.
Yeah, man, and congrats to you for your whole new venture
thanks
here.
for Spout. Appreciate it.
Yeah, last we chat, you were.
I know I was over at
different.
Adobe, which that was also truly a great chat that I would encourage anybody to watch. I watched the whole thing again today,
Cool.
and it's so informative about your life to where I was like, oh, I need to make promo clips of this other chat that I had with you now.
That was a really special one, and then anybody that loves dogs, your dog was like on my lap.
Frankie
next to
was
me
there the
all
whole
time.
time.
Frankie, which
I'll bring her back
love
for the
name.
next chat. And it was good to have two Franks in one chat.
Yes.
But Frank Zummo, thank you so much for stopping by. Everybody check out the book. We've got all the info of it popping up on
Yeah.
the screen and in the description. So check it out and keep enjoying your book tour.
Thanks so much,
And
dude.
congrats, man.